Good morning, everybody. So, during the Mouse Droid First 10, there was a request in the comments that I show the entirety of Battle 8, because when Battle 9 started in the first 10, I kind of gushed about how great the team did, and a humongous come-from-behind victory. So, it's taken me a little while to do it, a little while to have the kind of the time and the also forethought to say, I should do that video today. So, without any further ado, here it is. So, these first two mouse droids went blasting through the B point and kept throwing me off about, alright, am I going to cap, am I not? No, okay, and then decided, alright, there's dudes coming up behind. I'll wait and let them get in the cap. They deserve the extra SP, and it's useful for the team. We'll let those other two mouse droids go screaming forward, and I'll just pull up here and wait off to the side so they can all pull in. And my reward for sitting here and waiting patiently and letting the other guys come in and get some cap points is a P40 Leoncello comes in and just shoves me up into the middle of the open in the cap point. So, thanks, I guess. You're welcome. No good deed will go unpunished. Thought I was going to get high-centered on these sandbags, but thankfully my mouse droid broke through it. And then I almost drifted out of the point and just barely made it back in before the cap circle finished off. So, decided better use the speed and make an end run up the back road. So away I went. Mouse droid away. Things are looking good. Stug is just watching the road, not firing. He's moving up, should be clear. Right as I'm about to pull around, he shoots. So, okay, do not want. Not about to go driving up the back road now. We'll find another way. So, about the face. It's all yours, Leoncello. I'm gonna go this way. So, back up more or less the direct path up to C, which is not entirely smart, although I can see on the minimap that our two mouse droids are still alive, so I figure it's gotta be at least a little bit safe for me to drive up here. So I can see they're both still up there, and they're not taking any fire from what I can tell, so what I'm gonna do is cut over to the right, and we'll set up an ambush for any tanks that might come down the back road instead. The back road is what I call the 10-column road on this map. So, in the actual battle, that post didn't break. So, since the replay is not specifically a true replay, but it's bots redoing your commands, sometimes you'll get different results in a replay than you do in an actual battle. Like, parts of the map breaking or stuff like that. So that's why if you actually go back and watch this part of the battle of Battle 8 in the actual first 10 for this, you'll notice that when I bumped into that stone fence post there, it actually didn't break it. The wooden bit right here broke, but... So I'm sitting here waiting, and then you look at our two guys who just went into C. One of them gets taken out, there's a bunch of fire going on, and now he's 20 mil cannon, and there's two enemy tanks up there. So since our Stug and our P40 there are not firing, I think, okay, those guys must have distracted whatever it is that's up the back road. I'm going to make a speed run up there and try and help them out. No sooner do I pull out into the open here, realize there's a Sherman, jam on the reverse. He hits my driver. So naturally, I get good supporting fire from the two guys down there behind me on the road, the P40 and the Stug. Oh wait, no I didn't. They just sat there and watched. But don't worry, we'll see that name again, Daniel Arthur. So I came back in my Z1007, and knowing what I know about the mini-map, there's a bunch of enemy tanks in the C point. So, at best possible speed, which in a power dive is, well, it gets to be reasonable, but still, I'm so far back from the battle that it's going to take me a minute or two to get there, and I'm figuring those enemy tanks are not still going to be there, but I'm still going to head for the C point first with all my bombs here, and then bomb them if I can see them, and if not, make a circle back and bomb whatever I can bomb. So I do tell the team, hey, I'm coming in with bombs, mark some targets for me. I try to do that as often as possible when I've got a plane with ground strike ordnance on my way into the battle. Try and tell people, hey, call for bombs, mark for targets, whatever. Try and get them to actually communicate and give me a good target, so I'm not trying to just find one on my own. So coming in here, there's been artillery hitting, so just at the last second, I finally get to see that, they pulled back. So I didn't drop all my bombs, I just dropped a couple. And then as I pull up, the French anti-air tractors there tried to light me up, but thankfully I was able to get past their field of view quickly enough. And circle back around for another pass back in. This time I'm going to focus a little better on where those guys were at the sea point. So you can see an enemy airplane up. It's a Blenheim, obviously. All I could tell was that it was a dot. And it was far enough away that I'm going to make my run in, starting towards the B point. Now, obviously, I could see all the vehicles during the replay. I couldn't see them during the actual battle, so I certainly would have headed towards the B point if I'd have known there were enemy tanks there. But instead, I went in for C and kind of lined up a little bit better to drop my bombs right down on them. So, all bombs away, and just a hit on that Sherman's machine gun, basically. Kind of disappointing. So the Blenheim has actually come in behind me, and it's actually a pretty dangerous airplane with the chin-mounted turret it has. So I got some fairly decent shots at him. I had 109 kind of coming to help me. He dropped his bombs to ditch weight, and then as he's pulling him behind me, my rooftop gunner actually gets his pilot. So you'll notice engine number 1. I thought it had been shot out. It turns out I must have bumped it on something, probably the top of the cathedral. I don't know. But engine 1 is out, which leaves us, thankfully in this airplane, because the Italians had a real thing for tri-motors, leaves me with 2 engines, so the drag isn't as bad as you would think, although I do know for sure that engines 2 and 3 both rotate the same direction, and engine 1 is the one that counter-rotates. So I've lost the counter-rotating prop, and I have the 2 props that spin the same way. I was really contemplating just bailing out here and just getting back in a tank, because as you'll see, the ground situation is not entirely going our way, though we are taking the sea point at the moment. And I did some function checks on my aircraft and realized, all right, I've got a halfway decent chance of actually making it back. We'll see how far we can get, and then if the plane becomes unflyable, we'll just nose her down and put her in, and then that'll be that much faster than holding down the J button for 3 seconds. So that's what we're doing. And it turns out, even though I got pretty slow, I had enough power left in engines 2 and 3, and thankfully, World War II straight long wing aircraft, it's got pretty good lift characteristics, and that can actually move along fairly well at low speed. I thought I was dropping constantly, but it was relatively holding its altitude here. And I do know one thing about this airfield coming up. It's mostly flat, it's mostly paved, and it's unlike a lot of the other airfields in this game that are just a dirt strip with a bunch of tents and towers and radio antennas and the windsock and stuff alongside that would be really difficult to land perpendicular. But this one I know is actually, I figure I got a pretty good chance. And when I made it to the river without crashing, I knew, okay, I can actually make it all the way in. So the plan was basically, because of the damaged flap, I was thinking at first I'm just going to cut the power, just glide the thing in, and then I thought, well, let's see if the flaps will come down or not. And reduced my power back to 0. The flaps were fine, didn't give me an asymmetrical flap warning. And just glided it in, got the gear down just in time. I mean, we're talking like Memphis Belle, the movie there, just in time before touchdown. And we were fine. I was really pleased with the getting this thing back to our airfield safely. I did not think I was going to. And then it was just a matter of waiting out the repair. Now watch my escorting 109F here. I don't know why people do things like this. As he gets ready to take off, watch what he does. Most of you probably can guess what's going to happen. He levels off and he shoots a teammate airplane. Now, lucky for him, it was right before I finished my repair, so there was no actual damage, but I mean, you do that to a normal player, they might just decide, okay, screw you, buddy, and J out and give you a penalty for team kill. I mean, just why take the chance? At any rate, I will spare you guys the long flight back, the takeoff, the getting up to speed, and the getting back to the battle from here. For those of you who really, really want to see it, just slow down YouTube to 0.5 speed until the fast forward icon in the upper right-hand corner goes away. So, as I'm lining up on this bomb run, I realize that we really need to change this ticket situation. So I see this tank in the capture point, drop all my bombs on him, and then decide I'm just going to hold down J and get in the tank as fast as possible. I don't know if he was repairing or what, but took him out with the bombs and then bailed to get back in a tank because that ticket situation is critical. We just had way too many airplanes in the air, and there was no way we were going to turn this battle around from the air. So it was get in the fastest thing I had available, which happened to be this goofy little thing. And away I went as fast as I could get. Of course, as I do so, our guys pull into the C point and start capping it, and simultaneously, 2 tanks each pull into the A point and start capping it. So, I mean, it was good. It was very good. Now, get ready for this hilarity right here. Bombs overhead. If there had been any delay on those fuses, they probably would have killed me. And then, of course, I get hit by a Sherman that's driving up to the B point. Thankfully, I had binoculars, because that was all I really could do, was get the binoculars on him, get him scouted. Because at least he may take the B point from us here after he kills me, but we're taking the other 2. So we've turned the ticket bleed around, but we've got quite a ways to go. This battle is far from won. And I got the worst possible spawn, the spawn that drives me nuts on this map at the southeast. That spawns you in the upper northwest corner of the southeast spawn on the lower spawns, our side of the spawns. If I wanted to spawn towards the A side, I would spawn at the northwest spawn. That's in I-1, I-2. If I choose the spawn that's in J5, it's because I want to go to the eastern half of the map, not the western half. I don't get why they put a spot there for spawning and thought, this is good. Why would anybody spawn at the southeast spawn if they wanted to go to A? You would spawn at the northwest spawn. It's much closer. At any rate, watch this M1340 in front of me here. Speaking of mystifying decisions. We're rolling up to the B point to capture it. They're taking A, and this guy decides right in front of me to just, I don't know, turn broadside. I didn't have time to wait, so I just blew right through him. Like, I don't know what you're doing, man. We need to get this cat back. We cannot afford to be sitting here with 1 capture point, losing one and potentially losing the other one because we just lost our guy up at the other point. That Yak 2 bombed him out and blew him up. So we take the B point back, thankfully, and now I'm speeding as fast as I can get to the C point to try and defend it from the inevitable counterattack from the enemy team, either coming from A or coming from their B7 spawn, their northeast spawn. Now this guy, it's obvious that he's dead, but I put a shot into him simply to light it on fire again to alleviate any confusion anybody coming up behind me might have, because I don't want them to stop, waste their time, stop their vehicle, and shoot at this thing. And I spot an SU chassis pulling up to the C point, and he gets in there to cap it. I thought maybe he'd pull in front, but obviously he had seen me, so I put some artillery on top of the point, and then resumed my charge in to take him out before he can capture the point away, because we just don't have the tickets to fool around with here. Team is doing a good job. I'm getting strafed here. Team is doing a good job holding on to the B point while I move up. I've got help coming up behind me. Now he can obviously see me over the top of the train cars, and as I spun around, he makes a huge tactical error, blows his shot, which allows me to charge him and flush him out of his cover, and my artillery is also helping, and then I can knock out most of his frontal hull crew here, and he's stuck and trapped. So actually I kind of expected him to just bail out here, but I guess he figured he stopped me from capping, so I really don't honestly recall why I waited that long there, unless I was waiting to see if I could get an assist maybe. I don't know, but I drop smoke, resume the capture, wait for my teammate in the Panzer IV F2 to catch up, get behind a little bit of cover from these trolley cars here, and take back the C point. And pull up just to where I can see their counter-attacking lane from their capture here, which is the most direct route and the most obvious place for somebody to come. And then just hold off, finish up the capture, drop one more smoke in the cap to distract them, and then pull forward and move over to this little protected defensive area over here to wait and ambush any counterattacks on the C point. Still got quite a bit of ticket bleed to accomplish on the enemy team here. So I'm expecting counterattacks from the A point on the C point right here that we're holding. And basically I just move to where I can see the approach from their spawn. And presumably the guys, if they come from the direct right, they're not going to come around the part where I'm at. They're going to be hurrying to get the C point back. And I'm just watching down the road to A because there's so much artillery, dirt, and smoke up there that I figure if something's coming that way, I better be ready to shoot at it because it's not going to have as much warning as I would like. Put artillery down there at A to just kind of protect our approach a little bit. Look back over towards their spawn approach, and what do I see? This poor little guy who just had no chance whatsoever. And there's our friend from the first Sherman that took out my mouse droid. I got my revenge! Back to watching down the road to A. Great bomb run by the 109 there, taking out a T-34. That would have been a slight issue. Although I think myself and the Panzer IV F2 probably could have handled it. So, big help from a plane there. Panzer IV F2 moves up to a good defensive position there. Very good spot. He can't see anything coming up from A, which is a bit of a problem, but then we get artilleried, and I realize, okay, something's coming, and my guess is, I just had a hunch that I better go check the back way here. The Panzer IV F2's got the normal approach covered. There's nothing coming that I can see from A, and I just have a feeling that the guy's going to try the other direction over here. And I drop some smoke just to make sure I don't get shot from behind, just in case. And as I come around the corner, my suspicions are confirmed, and the poor guy just... no chance again. Same guy again. So I got my double vendetta against the guy who killed me originally. Drop some smoke behind me again, and you can see there's a T-34 here that had gotten past our Panzer IV F2, and I could not rotate the turret fast enough, unfortunately. And he beat me on the spinning draw there. Oh well. So you can see that we're taking the A point back, they're getting the C point back, but the key difference is we are still holding the B point. So my idea right now is just get to B, make sure they don't take it back, because as soon as we take the A point, we're taking that before they get to, they're going to get the C point back, and we'll win this ticket bleed and complete a pretty sweet long comeback. So you can see 4 tank kills, 1 air kill, 3 captures, 2 assists, and a pretty good score. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I don't have any of the end screens anymore. I deleted them after I finished the first 10 for the Mouse Droid. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. We'll see you next time for more War Thunder. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone.